Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be looking at a KDP low content book niche where one of the best sellers is selling around 660 books a month, which is bringing in a profit of around $1,254 a month. And the beauty of this particular niche that I'm going to show you is that the books are relatively easy to create, which means it's ideal if you are starting out in the KDP self-publishing business. So if that interests you, then follow along. Now, if you've not been to this channel before, then welcome. My name's Paul Miles and I do videos on how to make it, keep it and grow it. And that's your money I'm talking about. If you do like videos like that, then please do give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell. So what we're going to do in this video is have a look at the niche, and I'm going to show you how I validate a niche, and that is whether it's worthwhile going into a particular niche. We're then going to look at the interiors, followed by those all-important keywords which are essential for getting traffic and eyeballs on your books and ultimately making those sales. So what is this niche we're looking at? Well, it's the notary journal niche, as we can see here. Now, what is a notary journal? Well, it's just a document where notaries record their information in. What is a notary? Well, they are legal entities that do things like validate people's identities, validate and authorize documents. So let's have a closer look. So I've put in the broad search term notary journal, and when I'm investigating a niche, I just have a general scroll through the first page. And straight away, it looks interesting. We've got these two books here with bestsellers ranks of 11,000 and 22,000. Scrolling down, we've got these two more books, bestsellers ranks in the 20,000 mark. So straight away, this is looking very promising. Now, when I validate a niche, that is determine if a niche is worthwhile going into, i.e. it's profitable, I look for 3 or more books on that first page of search results with bestsellers ranks of 300,000 or less. Because if it meets those criteria, it means these types of books are making sales, and it's a worthwhile niche to investigate further and possibly go into. And as we can see, this fulfills that criteria straight away. Now, if we look at this bestseller book here, it has a bestsellers rank of 11,523. Now, in order to determine the number of sales, what I normally use is a book publishing calculator at tckpublishing.com. I found that the figures it gives here, when I use them on my books and look at the bestsellers ranks and compare that to the sales, it is pretty accurate, and the figures come out towards the higher end of the numbers here. This book is selling between 333 to 660 books per month, which equates to monthly royalties of around $600 to $1,254 per month. As I said, it's likely to be towards the upper end of that figure. So just for one book alone, I think that's pretty good. Now, most of these books are 8.5 by 11 inches, tend to have somewhere between 110 to 120 pages in them. And the average selling price is around about that $6.99 mark, which means the royalties for each book would come out at around the $1.90 mark. So now let's have a look at the interior. And here we can see, just a quick glance, it does look a bit complicated, but actually if we break it down, it's basically a box with more boxes inside that box and text. And this top box here is just repeated down below. It's pretty straightforward in that you could probably create one of these on something like Keynote or even PowerPoint. However, if you're not up for making your own interiors, probably one of the easiest options is to go along to Creative Fabrica. And here I just put in the search term for KDP notary journals, and we can see we've got 117 results, so a lot to choose from. And a lot of these interiors look very similar, and they will often give you the option of the 120-page PDF file to download, which you can then just upload as is to KDP, or a lot of them do offer templates that you can edit. Now, I did look closely at quite a few of these offerings to see if they were in fact editable, and a lot of them I found them difficult to edit. One of the best ones was this one here. Now, I did open it up in Canva to see if I could edit it there, but I couldn't. It was just a single kind of flat file. But they did have this .ai, which is an Adobe Illustrator file, which I was able to download, and I just opened that up in Affinity Designer. And if we just enlarge that, we can see here, this is quite editable. We can move all these lines around as we wish. So we could change the boxes around if we wanted to make the interior a bit more original. And we can also just edit the text and also the font. So if you did want to make something a bit more original, there's an option for you there. And you could open this file up in Inkscape as well, which is free vector editing software. With this sort of interior, it's probably not as important to make it original as it is for interiors like colouring books or puzzle books. Now on Canva, the cost of these interiors was small, or they are still offering their special deal where you can subscribe for the first month for $1, and then it's around about $19 per month after that. And it not only gives you access to thousands and thousands of different types of KDP interiors, you've also got access to different fonts and lots of different images that you can use in your books. It is a good resource if you are looking at doing this for the long term. I certainly subscribe to Creative Fabrica. I have done for the last 2 years, and I often use all their resources. Okay, so now we come on to the all-important keywords, and these are vital because these determine whether you're going to be able to get traffic to your books. Now, what is a keyword? Well, it's just this search term that people put into the search bar on Amazon. Here we can see Notary Journal. When you enter a search term into the search bar, you get all these additional suggestions from Amazon. And these suggestions are actual search terms that people are searching for on Amazon. So it is vital information. And I suspect that those listed towards the top of this list here on the left are more popular than those towards the bottom. Now I do have a plugin installed called Keywords Everywhere, which is a paid for plugin. And what it does, it gives me this extra information, which is the number of Google searches per month. And also if I hover over this graph, it also tells me how those number of searches per Google per month change over the period of 12 months. And we can see here that actually the popularity of this niche, the number of searches per month, stays relatively constant over the year. So this is an evergreen niche. People are buying these books all year round. And another thing I like about this niche is that it's one of those niches that flies under the radar. It's quite a dull, boring niche, not as glamorous as those puzzle books, handwriting books and colouring books that you find on Amazon. And a lot of my books that I've published are these types of books. They're not particularly exciting, but they bring in regular sales. And it's a great niche to have in your overall portfolio of books. So we've got these keywords here that Amazon suggests. I have a free plugin installed called AMZ Suggestion Expander, and I've got all these other suggestions here on the right-hand side. Now, what I normally do is I write down all these different keywords in a spreadsheet. And then I take each of these keywords, put it into the search bar, and we're in the all category, and I make a note of this number here, which is a number of search results. And this gives me an idea of the competition for a particular keyword. And what I also do in that same spreadsheet is write down the number of Google searches per month. Because if I have a keyword that's looking good and it's got a lot of Google searches per month, then it just gives that keyword a bit of extra strength. And also there's that possibility that your book could appear in the searches on Google. And a lot of my books appear on Google. So when people click on that link or that image on Google, it takes them straight to the link on Amazon. Now, what you often find is that when you enter a different keyword, so if we were to put in hardcover, you'll find that even more different keywords come up. And so these then also go into a spreadsheet. So you end up going down this rabbit hole, finding lots of different keywords, which then produce lots of more keywords. And then you've got to go and put them all into the Amazon search bar, look at the number of search results and look to see if there's any Google search numbers as well. On a side note to that, Notary Journal hardcover, I think this is a good book that could be published in both the paperback version and the hardcover version. The reason hardcover is good is because these make permanent records that notaries keep. And so there may be a preference for some of these professionals to keep these as permanent records in hardcover version because, you know, there's a better chance that they may last that bit longer. So Going back to our keywords, what happens is I end up building this list of keywords like this, where you have each keyword. In another column, you have the number of Amazon search results. And then in the next column, you have the number of Google monthly searches. And you can see here, we've got lots of these keywords which I've found. And in fact, overall, I found 142 keywords. Now, a couple of interesting things to note here, and that was that there are journals for different states in the US. So not only could you create just general notary journals, general notary record journals, but you could also modify journals and create one for each state in the US with a chance of getting more sales. And you wouldn't have to create different interiors. So this is a chance to create more books in this one particular niche, spread your net a bit further, and hopefully drag in some extra sales. Now, in terms of these keywords, as I said, I've found 142 keywords, and it did take a bit of time to put each one of these into the Amazon search bar and find the Amazon search results. But I've saved you the work of doing that, because if you're familiar with my channel, I do have a Gumroad shop where I publish all these keywords, and the same goes for these notary journal keywords. I've put these on my Gumroad shop and they are free of charge. So you can go across there, download these keywords for free, and it will give you a jump start into finding those keywords that don't have huge amounts of competition. And the way I use these keywords is in the title, subtitle of my books, and also in those 7 keyword boxes. Now, if you are new to this whole KDP publishing business and want to get started, then I do have this playlist here, which is my KDP book tutorials playlist, which goes through all the different steps required to create these types of books. I hope you found that interesting and useful. Thank you very much for your time. It is very much appreciated. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and until next time, goodbye.